Hello everyone, this is Tina from Tia's Treasures, and today I have for you 10 cards, one kit, using Spellbinders All Aboard Christmas 2021 card kit. This kit is twice the size of Spellbinders normal card kits. You get 25 card bases instead of your normal 10. Plus, you get a plethora of cardstock in a lot of different colors. I will go ahead and I will link to an unboxing of this kit when I am done, so you can take a look if you want to see everything that comes with the kit. Now for this first card, I took a scrap of white paper. As you can see, it said happy birthday on the back. I had messed that up. And I die cut out a nice little oval to put on top of the pattern paper I'm using. Because I wanted to use some red poinsettias, and I thought they needed a little bit of some sort of break from the background. Now, in hindsight, I probably maybe should have used just more of the smaller poinsettias. I'm pretty good with kind of figuring after I make the card that, maybe I should have done it this way or done it that way. But overall, I thought this card came out pretty well. So I'm putting my little poinsettias down. And then I decide I am going to put down some gold leaves. This first one is white with gold, and the second leaf is just all gold with cutouts in both of them. So they're kind of cool looking, a little different from your normal leaves. And after I put in that leaf, I'm like, I don't quite like the way that's looking. So I went ahead and I got another poinsettia to kind of cover up the base of that leaf. I thought it was a little bit too sticky out there, the leaf, so I needed something to kind of go over that. And now I am taking the die cut word joy and just gluing that down. And I'm going to use this die cut twice today, because joy I just think is a perfect size, and I like the word joy on Christmas cards. So I'm taking some a sparkle pen here that is Spectrum Noir sparkle pen, and I'm just sparkling up the poinsettias a bit. And now I decided it still needed some jewels. Now the jewels with the red tone and the pinks, they came with the kit, but I have some little gold pearls that are Spellbinders that I thought worked a little bit better on this particular card. I do pull out the gold pearls for 3 or 4 cards, simply because I liked the way they looked a little more than some of the other colors. Now if you see here, after I got it all done, I remembered, oh, I didn't put it in the card base yet. And so I did that last, but it all worked out. And another thing you could see, I like using my Score Buddy to line up my card bases. It makes it a little quicker for me. Otherwise, I'm bound to get them crooked. And even using my Score Buddy, I still sometimes get the card bases crooked, because that's just who I am. Instead of calling me Tina, maybe you should call me Crooked Tina. But no, don't do that. Never mind, strike that last comment. So anyway, this is card number 2. Now for this card, I have some glitter paper here. The kit came with a sheet of glitter cardstock, real similar to this color. It was just a little bit different. And being as I had this already in my stash and already cut, I used the glitter strip you saw here. Now it doesn't match the deer on the tag I'm using, but neither did the glitter cardstock that came with the kit, so no harm, no foul. Now I've got a piece of twine here, kind of golden yellow twine that I took, and that was in my stash as well. And I'm just kind of trying to make a bow, and that doesn't work out. So I abandoned that thought. And I just glue this tag down, and I end up taping the twine on the bottom of the card. As you can see, I kind of got my tape gun out there, and I tape it down. I'm a little bit off camera for a little bit of this. Sorry about that. And now I am just going to tape the entire back of this card onto a card base here. Again, using my little score buddy. And I do bring out some of the pink gems this time. Now you may be saying, why pink? Because the word special delivery is in pink, and I thought I would draw out the little word using the gems that came with the kit. Now these gems are real pretty. They got like a sprinkling of gold over the top. They have had these type of gems in some of the card kits before. Usually you only get like 3 colors instead of the 4 that came with the kit. So anyway, we are already on card number 3. Now this kit here, this card is a landscape card. And I've got this gold strip of paper here, or paper cardstock, the gold foiled cardstock that always comes in the kit. And it's kind of cut to look like a little hillside. I've got a die that on one side, if you use it, it's got stitching. But this side doesn't have the stitching. I just decided I didn't want to waste it. So I'm using that on this particular card as a little place to ground my little stag and my doe, because I think those are just so precious. And so I'm putting them on my little hill, and both the stag and the doe have some little gold spots on their back, so I thought the gold really looked pretty here. So I'm kind of figuring out where I want them, and I've got a couple bells that are from the die cuts. And so I'm going to make this little scene with the deer and the bell. Kind of reminds me of Silver Bells, you know, the famous Christmas carol. And no, I'm not going to sing. I am going to try to be nice. I can't guarantee I won't break into song later, at which point you're all going to turn off the video, because, you know, that's just torture. But at any rate, right now, I'm gluing down the stag, and I'm trying to get his feet down below this this gold. And I didn't put glue all the way to the top, but the little hillside was still glued down tight enough that it didn't want to move to let me get his little feet behind there. We did manage to get them eventually. I left a little bit of mark, little bitty mark on the card doing that, because this gold foil is not very forgiving. If you're not careful when you put it through your die cut machine, it can come up with all sorts of little marks and scratches on it. So you've got to try to be careful cutting it. So I've got my deer down, and now I'm putting a little banner that says Merry Christmas, and I did pop that up, as well as popping up the little bells. And I did color the bells. I don't know if I showed that yet. I'm showing it now with the little shimmer pen again. And I did use my little gold pearls on this card as well. So I really like the way this turned out. I just think it's real Christmassy. It's not so much traditional colors, but I liked it a lot. So here for card number 4, I've got some real busy paper again, and this time I am putting it on a red background instead of a green background. And I'm taking a piece of that gold foil that came with the kit, and I'm just putting a stripe of that down the center. I don't know the measurement on that. I just kind of eyeballed it and went, that's a good width. And I took a tag that had plenty of room for a sentiment, and the kit came with these sentiments like love, and I should try to find my stamp here so I can read it to you. I have such a mess on my desk. But it came with a lot of different sentiments. Okay, I did find it. It's got sentiments like wonderful, love, joy, time of the year, holiday. I mean, so you can make a lot of different sayings. So anyway, I decided I was going to do sending you love this holiday season. And I decided to heat emboss that with some sparkly gold embossing powder on this tag. Now, I used some Hero Arts embossing powder with that because it's the only one I've got that's sparkly. And honestly, I'm not really sure. I don't think I like the way it looked because even though I used the static bag, it still seemed like I got a little bit of debris on the card anyway. I tried using the paintbrush trick to sweep it off. And in addition to that not working real well, my stamping didn't seem like it came out as strong as I would have liked. So the sending you and this holiday season didn't turn out too well. Now the love across it all was fine, but I honestly didn't think love by itself was that great of a sentiment for Christmas. Now I suppose it should have been. I mean, Christmas season is the time for love and happiness and family and all sorts of other things. It just wasn't a traditional greeting, and because they did have the sending you and this holiday season words, I decided to use those as well. So this card didn't turn out too bad. And I put a couple of the pink gemstones on it, and you can't really tell too much because they do kind of fade away with this busy cardstock. So maybe I should have used the gold pearls again. I just thought I had been using those so much that I would try to use the ones that came in the kit. And as you can see, sometimes with their little gems, the backing comes off and you have to glue them using some liquid glue, which is all good. So, every card you make can't be a winner. And sometimes you just gotta roll with it and keep going. Don't let it upset you when stuff doesn't turn out exactly the way you think it should look. Just put it to the side and make another card that you might like better. So this card here, I do like, as a matter of fact. I took some pattern paper that's got some writing all over it. It's kind of a grayish with white words. And I'm gluing that to a piece of the cranberry red cardstock. And I'm taking some of the poinsettias that came with the kit. Now this kit came with a whole pack of nothing but florals, and these were in the florals. It's a layering poinsettia, and I decided I kind of wanted to do like a decoupage where I put them up on foam pieces. So the first set, I guess you could call it that, the first die cut, that makes more sense, I glued down straight to the paper, and then layer 2 and 3, I went ahead and I used the foam pieces to pop it up a bit, to give it some really nice dimension. And I just think this has just turned out really beautiful, and it's the way it's kind of stacked. Now it's not overly thick, so you might be able to get away with mailing it. I don't know. Before I knew you were supposed to use extra postage on these, I put them through the mail all the time, and nobody ever said they had a problem getting it. Now, use that tip at your own peril. Now that I know better, I think if things are overly thick, I'd err on the side of putting extra postage. I want to make sure everybody gets the cards that I send, being as you put the effort into them. So again, I'm using some gold leaves that just match the gold center of this poinsettia. So nice. And I use a little banner that matches the poinsettias that says Believe. And I've got that propped up with some foam tape as well. Now there's little stars that also came in the die cut pack, and I'm using those as my little accents. There's some red sequins that came in the kit that I could have used, or the jewels again, and I just thought the little gold stars matched the leaves really nice, and they just called to me for this card. So that's what I used for card number 5. Let's see, what card is 6? And again, I had to tape the base because I had too much dimension to tape the front side. So we're still working on this card. Yeah, some more glimmer on the poinsettia leaves, or do you say poinsettia? I think both are proper. I think it's just a matter of maybe where you're at or what your relatives call them. I don't know. Do people in different part of the country call them different things, or is it just how you're brought up? Because I have heard it called both things in Illinois, poinsettia and poinsettia. So, I don't know. So this card here, I am making a little bitty landscape, and I'm getting it all taped up with my tape runner. As you can see, I'm having a little bit of issues. Now this tape, sometimes it sticks to my fingers as well as to the card. And you can tell on this video that I've sped it up a lot, mostly when I'm taping and different things. That looked like it was one of the rare spots it wasn't sped up abnormally to like 8 times the speed. So this is the second half of the gold hill that I used on my stag cards. So this one's got the stitching on it. This was the card I originally cut the hill for. As you can tell, my cards aren't really in any kind of order. I figured out what I was going to do. I put everything to the side, and then I just kind of pull them out as I'm making them. So there's this fun little balloon die cut that says Good Tidings. And I thought I would put that at an angle with this ticket that says Season's Greetings Special Occasion. You know, kind of like, hey, get your ticket to ride the balloon. And while you're on the balloon, let's throw out some candy. So there's these big old pieces. So the candy's supposed to be in the front and the balloon's supposed to be in the back. And, you know, I just have these stories I tell myself in my head. I don't know what you'd be doing in a hot air balloon in the winter. You know, I guess you could if you were like from some of the states that are way down south or way out in the southwest, but it'd be a bit cold in the Midwest to be on a balloon around Christmas. Of course, with the weather we've been having lately, I don't know. Had some awful warm Decembers. So that's card number 6. And that one might be my favorite. So I don't know. This card here, card number 7, has some beautiful pattern paper that's got little trees in the background, and it says joy in little tiny letters all over the background of the paper as well. So this card, it's going to be a pretty easy card. But I had these ornaments that I really liked, and one of them did say joy, and I thought that matched the background paper so nicely. So for this card, I'm just taking these 3 ornaments, and I am gluing them in place. And I looked at it, and I'm like, wait a minute, they really need something to hang. They need like a string or something. So I took some gold foil and I cut out 3 little strips. And as it happens, I only really needed 1 strip of it because of the length of what I would be using. So I went ahead and I took the skinniest strip that I had, and I decided that I was going to use that for my little my hanger, my string for these ornaments. Now, I wish I would have had like a big bough or something, some sort of branch I could have made it look like I was hanging it off of. but there's nothing I think that would have stretched across the whole card. So as you can see right there, I got some glue on this foil. Now when you get glue on this card, the foil that comes in the kit, it's not real forgiving. But if you take a baby wipe or something along that line, it does wipe right off. It won't wipe off using a towel or your fingers, but any sort of a wet paper towel, baby wipe will take it right off because it's really easy to get glue on this foil. I mean, I do it all the time. I get gluey fingers, or I mess up somehow. So I took my little foil piece here, and as you can see, I lined it up with all of the ornaments, and it just really made a difference in the way the card looked. Otherwise, these poor ornaments would have just been floating in space, defying gravity, and that wouldn't have been a real good look. So I'm just cutting that off, and I'm not doing anything else to the card. I just looked at this card and decided simple was best. And so, for card number 7, that's it. I didn't use any sparkle pen or anything. I just let the ephemera kind of speak for itself. And now for card number 8, this card, I have this pink piece of cardstock that I use this pattern paper that has little pink and like bluish green spots that almost look like snow coming down, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it. I usually like to pull out pattern paper and then figure out what ephemera I'm going to use after I pull out the paper, but I had a really tough time with this one. So the little pink tree and the pink presents that came on like some foam, not chipboard, but it was like a foam sticker that came with the kit, kind of looked like they went real well with the paper itself. So I did end up using both the tree and the presents, and then I pulled out some glitter sentiments. A whole sheet of glitter sentiments, you can see there, came with the kit. And I was trying to find some that would fit on this card, that wouldn't be too big. And I thought the ho 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 would work nice. Now in hindsight, again, they kind of get lost in the background, but all of our cards are not always going to turn out the way we think they are. Now it's a lot easier to see the ho 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 when you've got the card in front of you in real life. But on camera, I kind of am struggling to see what it says. But, it's all good. I still think it's kind of a neat card. So I'm popping up the tree because the foam presents are already popped up just from being foam stickers. So I couldn't quite fit the whole tree on the card due to the ho 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 sentiment. So I had to cut off a few of the branches, and I'm not real fond of the way that looked, but hey, you can still tell it's a tree, right? Now we've got this great big blank spot there that I kind of felt needed something else, and I wanted to use another sentiment if I could find one, and so I did use Noel, and I put that on an angle. So we do have more than one sentiment on this card, both of them equally hard to read. So, I think I was overcompensating there a bit. And some glitter stars from the sheet I thought went really nice as well. I mean, what are you going to do, right? So you could see all the sparkle there. Hey, I might not be able to read it, but it sure is sparkly. So for card number 8, I've got some more cranberry cardstock. I just love this particular color red that came in this kit. It's not like too red like the cherry red. I guess cranberry would be a good way to describe it. And so I am using that, and I kind of got bored with using my tape runner, so I decided to actually glue this piece down and see what would happen if we could glue it without using my score buddy. And as you can see, I kind of struggled a little bit to get it straight, but because it was glue, I was able to kind of shift it and get it straight. Sometimes I get a little nervous using too much wet glue. I'm afraid it's gonna kind of come through. So I've got my pattern paper with the green and the stars, and I'm putting this wreath down that came with the kit. And there's this chipboard circle that looks like it was cut out of the center of the wreath. It just fits perfect. It's got a little bit of the greenery around, and it fits perfect inside the wreath, say that 3 times. And inside of it, it says joy, love, and peace. And I still thought this card was a bit naked. So I found another little sentiment that said holiday wishes, and I put that right down in the right bottom corner. It's nothing in your face, but it does kind of add a little bit to the card. And then I used a few of the red gemstones on this card because I thought it just really pulled out the background red. And this card is done. I think it's a real pretty simple card, but I love it. So on to the last card. Now this card is similar to a poinsettia card we did earlier. So even though this is similar to the first poinsettia card that I did, it is a little bit different. Number 1, we've got cream colored background with this real pretty subtle paper with poinsettias in the back. This time it's not like an overly busy paper. And I take a gold strip and I put that to the side. I think I've done that in 1 or 2 other cards. I like the way it looked. If you watch me enough, you'll find out there are certain things that I kind of do over and over again, and that's one of them. So for this card, instead of using the foam tape on the poinsettias, I just glue down the centers. So you can kind of use your fingers to pop up the dimension a little bit, which is nice if it's going through the mail. And I've got a couple more gold leaves that I am going to put in the background. I really think I need to start putting these gold leaves down first. When I try to put them in after I've already got everything else done, I don't always get them where I want them, if that makes sense. I have a little bit of trouble getting them tucked underneath, and so I think they look much prettier when I'm first designing the cards than when I actually end up making the cards. So I take this one and I get it in there in the end, kind of shove it in there, and it does work out. And in the end, it looks okay. I think, like I said, I should have glued it down first, but it's all good. It's all good. I think if you didn't know I wanted it placed a little different, you might not know. And so I'm just getting it, underneath all the different poinsettia leaves and wiping it off because I got a little bit of glue on top. And now I'm taking the second die cut word joy and gluing that down. And I am thinking of putting a few of the pearls down, which I do. So I scatter some pearls, again, trying to get out of my comfort zone, which is 2 on the right and 1 on the left. And I try to scatter these throughout the card. So that is card number 10. And I just think that's a real classy gold and red look. It turned out really nice. So these are my 10 cards. Sorry, I am not centered totally. That one's kind of off to the side a little bit, but I think you get the idea. So if you liked any of these, please let me know which one's your favorite. And please let me know what kind of mistakes you do over and over again, because I tend to make the same mistakes over and over again, and we can kind of learn from each other. So if you liked this video, please hit the thumbs up or subscribe. Bye. This is Addie. This is Bruce.